Hey guys, and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how to change the background color of your portrait within Lightroom using no Photoshop at all. And in this picture we're going to transform the background from a dark pink to a bright orange, like so. Let's get started. The first thing you'll notice is that this picture is taken with an 90mm F2.8 macro G lens from Sony, and it's taken with the Sony A7 III camera. So this is a 24 megapixel image. Before we begin with changing the background color, I'm just going to make some quick adjustments to the exposure and basically make the picture look a bit more like the final product. So to begin with, I'm just going to raise the exposure until it looks just about right. And this picture was kind of underexposed from the get-go, so let's just increase it a little bit. I also like to put in a little bit of contrast sometimes, and because the color of the strobes are pretty cool, then I'm going to add a little bit of warmth into the shot as well, like so. Just around there seems fine. Alright, now that we're done with the basic adjustments, then we can start working on changing the color of the background. And how we're going to do that is by selecting the brush tool. And in here you can see you have a lot of different effects, and basically I want this brush to increase the saturation of the picture. So I'm basically just gonna select just about 50. We are gonna change this value later, and I'm gonna make sure that the feather is not too strong for now, maybe just a little bit of a feather. And then I'm simply going to start brushing in the effect up here. And you can see mine actually turns very dark pink, and that's because I have clicked O on my keyboard. Now I just clicked O again and the mask actually disappears. So now it's just like a faint increase in saturation. But I really like to see where I'm drawing, so I'm going to click the O key on my keyboard again to toggle on the mask. And then I'm just going to basically brush in the mask really quick, and there's some parts where I need to be a bit more precise than others, but don't let this take up too much of your time, because we're going to add an adjustment mask a bit later. So you can see now some of her hair is actually getting masked a bit, and that's fine. We can always erase that if it looks weird. So I'm just going to keep brushing in this mask around her hair, and the feathered part of the brush is just overlapping a little bit. Make sure that all the stray hairs are getting brushed over. And once we get down here, I'm going to decrease the size of the brush. I'm going to increase the feather a bit, and then I'm just going to fill it in right here. We're going to clean this up later, don't worry. This is just like the basic mask, like so. Later on we're going to zoom in 1:1 and change this mask. Alright, so this is starting to look good, and there's a bit of paint down here as well, like so, and as well as down here. And I'm just using my mouse. I don't have any tablet or pen connected to my computer, so you can do this in whichever way you see fit. And now that the basic mask has been drawn on. Let's just zoom in a bit, 1:1. And now I can hold down space to drag around the image while still retaining my brush. So now I'm going to select the erase over here. I'm just going to refine my mask a bit to make sure everything stays nice. And this may get a bit laggy, as you can see, depending on how fast your computer is and the resolution of the image, and if you're doing this on a raw image or on JPEG image. Like this, nice. Basically just making sure that her hair is not too affected by the background. A little bit is okay, because it could just be like the glow from the background or something like that. Once the color is completely changed, then we can see if anything looks weird and make adjustments accordingly, like so. Alright, and I think I'm just going to go down here to her arms, and I'm going to select the A brush again. I'm going to decrease the feather a little bit, and I'm just going to brush it in a little bit here so we don't get this halo effect around her arm. You can see it's like her arm is glowing. That's like the halo effect I was talking about. So I'm going to increase my feather just a little bit to give myself some leeway. Again, we don't have to be perfect here, unless you're doing this for like a huge print. It just has to be almost perfect. That's good enough. Alright. Like so. Let's see if the computer can catch up. Like there. Alright, now we're gonna go over here. Just quickly. Alright, this looks fine. So now I'm going to click Fit up in the top left corner. And now we're going to start changing the color. So I'm going to continue by clicking the O key on my keyboard. And that should disable the mask from the background. And now we can see the saturation slider is making the background a bit more intense, more pink. But we want to actually also change the color of the background. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the temperature and the tint slider. And I really like the color orange, so I'm just going to increase the temperature a bit until maybe around here. Maybe we can even go a little bit further. And I'm going to change the tint as well to maybe right around here. This seems like a nice color. And as you can see, we might actually have overdone it a bit when we erased the mask. So we're gonna draw some of it back in. So let's take the brush and let's increase the feather a bit, maybe even a little bit more, and maybe a little bit less actually, and just start painting out here on the edge of her hair. We don't want to go overboard because it can actually change the color of her hair, so we will go back and forth a few times to make the mask just right. And again, we're going to refine it in a bit, like so. All right, so I'm starting to like this more and more. Let's go in here. Add a bit of the mask in here. I doubt anyone is going to scrutinize our image this much, but it's for our own peace of mind. And now, before we're done and before we're going to refine the mask even more, then we're going down here to the range mask, and we're actually going to choose color. And what this allows us to do is to select an area of colors that will be the mask's primary focus. So I'm going to select this color range selector. It looks like the eyedropper tool, but it's actually making a square up here. And you can see I'm just going to drag it over the gradient of colors and release like so. And then you can change the intensity of the mask a bit if you want, but this seems just about fine. And you can see now that the extra color fringing that was spilling in from the background here is now actually gone. And let's see if we can turn this off, the range mask. You can see the color should pop back in once the computer catches up. Yeah, now you can see it. Now there's this yellow orangey hue on her hair, but we're going to turn it back on, and now it has disappeared. The mask has actually become really, really good. Let me just go into the brush again. I can see I just want to maybe refine it a little bit over here on the left, because I can see a little bit of the pink background still there. Just like so, and I am pretty happy with this result. Feel free to fine-tune it even more depending on where you're going to share the image. If it's on Instagram, this is definitely fine, but again, if you're going to print it, then you may want to be a bit more careful with your masking. As you can see, there's still a bit of, what can you say, pinkish hue spilling through her hair down here, as well as over here. But from out here, it's a bit harder to notice. All right, take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.